Xbox has discovered a new way to squeeze Game Pass subscribers by ending family Game Pass sharing and wiping an innocent kid's save files, according to a distraught parent on Reddit. Welcome to Inside Games Daily, the only game news show brave enough to admit we actually didn't know family sharing was a thing.
Yeah, apparently it wasn't, according to some of the more contrarian people on Reddit. Which, yeah, you're getting pretty deep in the contrarian wells if you're starting to conflict on Reddit, but... yeah, this is a whole situation, and not a great one.
Yeah, in a post titled, Microsoft just killed family sharing on PC Game Pass, Reddit user NoCommission8547 writes that a recent update has intentionally blocked family sharing of Xbox's PC Game Pass.
Yeah, to make matters worse, the proposed fix caused their son to lose several save files that were cloud synced to Xbox's service.
That's the worst. No Commission said, quote, my son lost his 100% save on Hollow Knight, and all his progress at Deep Rock Galactic is gone, permanently. The rep even said that since it syncs to the cloud, there's no way to get it back.
Yeah, this gives everyone that uses any kind of cloud service the willies, I think. And, you know, while every gamer has been stung by a lost save file at some point, you know, memory card goes out, you accidentally overwrite it, something. No Commission son, maybe a little more gamer than most.
They write, quote, the worst part is explaining to my son, who is autistic and worked so hard for those achievements, that none of this was his fault. It was Microsoft's.
These changes also mean that No Commission can no longer use Microsoft's parental controls like content filters and screen time limits.
Oh, weird. The technicalities behind this are a little confusing. Read very confusing. Like most things tend to be on PC. Previously, No Commission's kids would log into Windows and the Xbox app with their own Microsoft accounts, while No Commission would use theirs on the Microsoft Store app.
I hate that there's multiple layers of login in Windows now. It's just awful. So Microsoft's change to this whole system would mean that the parent has to log into Windows rather than the child user.
Apparently, since the Windows and Xbox profiles don't match, the games don't recognize the save files and will then cloud sync a new and empty save file, deleting what's there.
I hate it. It's a nightmare. No Commission writes, quote, it's absolutely disgusting that the only workaround is to remove all child protections or to buy multiple Game Pass subscriptions for the same household.
That's true. That doesn't make any sense. No Commission writes that they have filed a formal complaint and also spoken to Ofcom, the UK's broadcast regulatory agency, about losing parental controls.
Now, because this is Reddit, and perhaps especially because this is a PC-focused subreddit, folks in the comments are not so generally accepting of No Commission's story here.
Several folks point out that the save files are likely still on No Commission's hard drive, local, hidden in a different user file structure, which can be very, very hard to find sometimes. Those save files are usually like, you know, in subdirectory, like all the way down.
Yeah, 100%. They're usually hidden in like user save files and stuff. You typically have to Google each individual game to figure out where it puts its save files. Other commenters in the thread claim that this has, in fact, always been the situation with Game Pass, and that maybe No Commission was using an outdated workaround that's since been closed.
Oh, interesting. Others still claim that this was never a supported feature in the first place, with the original poster claiming they learned about from an official Xbox post years ago that has since been deleted. So maybe they were doing a workaround. I didn't even know it existed at all. I didn't know you could do this.
May have once been a supported or even broadcast feature, and they've since shut it down. Overarching all of that, though, in the comments and the reception to this post, are folks cautioning against investing too heavily in locked ecosystems like Xbox's Game Pass. The same people then ironically recommend Steam. You know, I get it, all right? Everyone loves Steam, but it's also a closed system, let's be honest. Although they specifically mentioned Steam's family sharing plan, which is actually really great, and I've never really had any issue using it.
Yeah, it's weird here because I read these threads and I'm always like, I didn't know that you could family share PC Game Pass. I've always heard the feature with Steam or even with Game Pass that you can family share. I've never used it. I've never even bothered to try, and I'm sure that I will at some point when my kids grow up and then they all want to play video games, right? So I'm sure it's a thing a lot of people do. I just didn't know, and the really disgusting corporate mind in my brain always thinks to myself, there's no way that this stuff's going to work. I always think there's no way they're going to make it easy on me. I'm going to have to pay. That's the number one thing I always think. I'm going to have to pay. I'll be surprised if this feature actually works the way I want it. So I don't know if Microsoft actually changed something in this situation or if just maybe they were, like maybe No Commission was using a workaround. The workaround disappeared. I don't know. Who knows?
So in the original post, No Commission did mention that they had written to Xbox support, who confirmed that this is how it's supposed to work. But yeah, if No Commission signs into Windows under their profile, then they lose the parental tracking of their kids. And also the save files are gone. Or maybe not gone, just hidden, and then they have to get copy and pasted over. Yeah, ecosystems are tough. The thing is, I've run into this problem on Steam before. I've lost saves on Steam due to funky cloud syncs. So this issue is not unique to Xbox, even though Xbox, they're not in the best situation politically right now. Xbox's system is a little weird, but it's not as closed, I think, as people assume it is. It's not as closed as it launched. When it launched, they had all the files hidden. You couldn't find your save files anywhere. Now the files are a little more open. I actually had to do some copying and pasting of save files for Death Stranding of all games on Xbox's service because it kept syncing outdated saves. But yeah, closed ecosystems are rough, and I think that advice generally applies. And I think even applies to Steam. If you really want an open system, you gotta buy your games from Good Old Games, because they're fully offline, and then you can choose to back them up if you want. And some people in the Reddit comments were recommending that as well. That said, there are some loopholes. Yeah, Steam's family sharing is pretty great. Basically, you create a library that you add people to it, and then everyone has access to all the games in that library, though only one can use a game at a time. So it is pretty traditional. It's like you're trading a game around. It's nice. Xbox has some angles too. I had no idea PC Game Pass was a thing, but something that does work, Play Anywhere, Xbox Play Anywhere actually gives you 2 copies of a game. So totally different, but I like sharing angles here. So here's an angle. If you get a copy of an Xbox Play Anywhere game, you can set an Xbox console to be your home console, which means any other account can use any of the games on your account on that piece of hardware. You can run the same game on PC at the same time. So I just played through Resident Evil 5 with Steph. I bought it once on Xbox Play Anywhere. She was playing on console, I was playing on PC. That's pretty neat. I hope they don't shut that down at some point or find that particular loophole, but this does seem to be where Xbox is at right now. It seems like they've deployed their agents to find any stopgap. They actually just changed, you can't buy Game Pass with Xbox reward points anymore. So it really seems like they're cinching down all the little holes that Air was getting out through and trying to bank up as much money as they can. So I hope that little tweaks like this aren't a part of that, but it seems like they might be.
They absolutely are, Lawrence. This is policy now. This reminds me a lot of Netflix and Disney Plus being like, like everyone keeps bringing it up, but Netflix tweeted a long time ago in 2017, like, love is sharing a password or whatever it was. And then like a couple of years ago, they were like, nope, can't do that anymore. Now every person in your household has to pay for Netflix on their own account or whatever. Like, it's gotten pretty insane because, again, in shitification, they have to get as much money from their user base as possible. The thing I always think about is the quote from Star Wars. She says, "The more you tighten your grip, Tarkin, the more star systems will slip through your fingers." And this is very much like what these companies are doing, where they're finding the top level of how many users they could keep by raising their prices and closing all the loopholes. And this is usually the beginning of the end. Generally, it's like this is the top of the bell curve, and then they start losing users, and then they have to raise or lower their prices, and then they have to stop the bleed. So we're in that portion of the bell curve. I hope it's not going any further. I hope it doesn't go any higher, and they continue raising prices.
I agree. I still think PC Game Pass is a good deal. But I agree with all the cautioning in the Reddit threads. If you're going to invest in any of these services, do so with full knowledge that, yes, it might evaporate overnight. That doesn't mean your memories disappear, and it doesn't mean all the money you saved along the way goes away either. That's kind of where I'm coming from. So for me, I just take it 1 month at a time with PC Game Pass. It's still a good deal. There's still a lot of good stuff on there. But yeah, maybe have an escape plan. For No Commission, so I've tangled with this before. I do think it is possible that those save files are still there under a different folder structure that was created for a different profile in that account. And what you can do with Xbox games, because I've done this before, launch the game, copy and paste your save back into its right place, close the game, it'll resync the new save back to the cloud, you're ready to go. But not every game works that way, and I really hope No Commission can claw some amount of control back from this. That setup seems astoundingly complicated to begin with, of just the interchange of logging into everything. So that's truly a shame. Man, that sucks. Hopefully there aren't too many more road bumps like that. But like Bruce said, I'm sure there will be.
Good luck, No Commission, because we understand and we feel you, and it's something I'm probably going to have to experience very soon in the future when I have my children playing video games, and I'm going to have to balance a bunch of logins and parental controls and all that other bullshit. So we hear you, we understand. We'd like to thank you very much for watching Inside Games. If you did today, we appreciate it. Please do a hype. We're not sure what that means still, but do a hype on mobile. It'll put us on a list, a good list, and it'll help us maybe.
Yeah, gosh. Speaking of technological rug pulls, YouTube's adding hypes and changing recommendation algorithms left and right. It's weird out here. Because of that, we'd like to plug. We do have a Patreon too, and it's got free memes for you. Free meme every day, in addition to free access to all the content we post. There's nothing paywalled out there. So we just do it for the love of the game, and accordingly, we'd like to thank some specific patrons that support the show. Brian Cosner, Kyle Heaton, Monkey Butlers, and Spirit Bear, thank you very much for never deleting our saves. Good God, if one of my friends ever did that, that'd be it. Can't mess with a man's save file. Ugh.